Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, good morning. We'll give it a few more minutes. We'll give it about 1 minute and then we'll get started. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning. Hopefully, yesterday went very well for all of you. It's a new day, so new things to look forward to. So first and foremost, I always like to start with an icebreaker before we continue with the day. So that is what we're going to be jumping into right away. Okay. So this icebreaker, let me explain it. Is I like to call it common things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split all of you into two groups. So I'm going to put you all into breakout rooms, and I am hopeful that when I split the rooms, Emily would be in one room and Linda would be in the other. And so hopefully that works out. If it doesn't, then can one of you just jump back into the main room and I'll put you in the other breakout room. So ultimately, I'm going to have Emily and Linda kind of lead it. But ultimately, I just want you all to talk amongst each other and come up with 5 to 7 commonalities between all potential all 6 of you. um, and then just kind of discuss like everything, some things that you have in common. Okay, so I am going to put you to breakout rooms. Maybe set the timer for about 5 minutes. Have you all talk it out, and then maybe if someone wants to write it down, you can write it down, and then I'll bring you all back into the main room, and then we're just gonna share what was some of the commonalities between you and your other peers. Okay, sounds good. Thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Let me figure this 2 rooms. I'm going to do it automatically. So there's going to be 9 to 10 of you in per room. So I'm going to create rooms. So let's see here. Linda, you on this one? Emily, oh, perfect. It's actually really good. Okay. Anastasia, did you get a room? Let's see. There we are. Okay. Welcome back. Okay, so I'm glad that you all were able to talk amongst each other and kind of find some similarities and differences between all of you. So I'm not sure if any one of you had a chance to pick a speaker. So does anyone from each group want to start off by saying, telling me some of the similarities that y'all have within each other? Okay, Jeliza. Yes, thank you.
My group likes iced coffee.
All of
Um,
you? Oh, that's wonderful.
yeah, we all like the outdoors. Some of us preferred egg sandwiches for breakfast. Some of us preferred cereal for breakfast. Half of us like pancakes. Half of us like waffles. We all like to go to concerts. We all like to listen to music.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if anyone else wants to speak. 'Cause I don't know. I don't really remember the rest.
I think that was it. Oh wait,
Thank you.
we all like animals. That was the last one.
Hmm. That's awesome. I wonder if there's an animal emoji here because I'm wondering if you like animals, what kind of animals do y'all like? Was I'm looking at the reactions, I think there's only like thumbs up and a clap. So let's see. Okay. How about the other group? Like, what was some similarities? And I think I want to try this out where, because we do have a thumbs up, if it pertains to you as they're talking about it, go ahead and just put a thumbs up. And then if they say the next thing, it doesn't just take down your thumbs down. And then just so that we see if there's any consistency within this main group. Anyone?
Um, we said we all have at least a brother.
Oh.
We have all at least painted got our nails done or painted our nails. Um, uh, we all at least have one stuffed animal in our room. Um, I don't remember the rest.
Thanks, Jodeci. Anything else within the group that you found some similarities in? Okay. No, that's fine. Okay, but I'm glad that you all were able to kind of just talk it out to kind of see the similarities and differences. Again, because this is remote, it kind of gets a little bit more difficult to connect with each other, right? And so because everyone's on screen, but I'm glad that y'all were able to converse and be able to kind of share some of the things that you like or dislike. I think that's fun. Okay, so thank you for doing that. Right now we have about 20 of us in this Zoom room right now, and that's including Linda and Emily and myself. So the topic for today is surrounding college success. And what does that mean? What does that look like? So I want to break us all back into a breakout room because I want it to be more of a discussion base. Okay. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to, let's see here, there's about this 19, let's see. I am, see what the breakout room looks like. Other room. I think I'm gonna do 5 rooms. No, let's do 4 rooms. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break everyone into 4 different breakout rooms. Okay, so that's gonna be about 4 to 5 students in one. So here in this one, I just want you to answer the following question. Okay, and the question is, it's a statement really. A successful college student does the following. Dot dot dot. So then what I want you to do as a group is just talk it out to answer that prompt. A successful college student does the following. And start writing down a list of things that you believe would what you believe defines a successful college student, and that can range from anything, just keeping it very as broad as you can, and just kind of answering that prompt. So talk amongst each other. So what I want you to do when you get into your breakout room is, one, to choose a writer. You can either just get a sheet of paper and write it down yourself. I know that with Zoom, you can also share like a whiteboard and just type it in so everyone see what you're typing. And that is, you could just go to your share button and just choose a whiteboard. And then after that, I want you to choose a speaker. Okay, and then once we come back into the main room, the speaker is going to share with the group the list that you came up with. And so Linda is going, I'm going to split Linda and Emily up too. So they're going to be hopefully not together, but we'll be in a different breakout room. But there's going to be 3 other breakout rooms that's just going to be just not going to have a student, a bridge leader. And what I'm going to also do is I'm just going to pop in just to kind of say hi and then leave again, like what I did earlier. And then just to check in if you need any assistance, okay? But again, I want you all to lead this. Choose a leader, choose a speaker, choose a writer, and then just talk amongst each other. And then again, the question, once I put you into breakout rooms, I'll type the question and send it to the chat so that y'all can see what the question is as well. Any questions? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Let's see, perfect. Okay, so we create 3 rooms, 4 rooms. Okay, so here we go. Let's see here. Okay, Emily and Linda are not together. Perfect. Okay. here. Is everyone back? Let's see. I think we're waiting for one more. Okay, no, we're good. Everyone's back. Okay. So I do want to just let's see here. We have, who was it? Skylar joined us. Hi, good morning, Skylar. So right now what we're talking about is we had broken everyone up into breakout rooms and answered the following prompt, which was a successful college student does the following. And so everyone had a chance to talk it out. So thank you for participating in that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen with all of you just to show the whiteboard because I want to write down what all of y'all talked about. So if I remember correctly, I kind of wrote down who was in each Zoom room. So let's see, can I go ahead and have Audrey's group, whoever was chosen to be the speaker, to speak out and share what y'all came up with?
Okay, I'll start. We said attend class, paying attention, take notes, studying, turn in all assignments, communication, take care of yourself, attend office hours, building a bond with peers, don't leave anything last minute, respect, integrity, and surround yourself with good support.
Ooh, I cannot type that fast. Okay. Connect with peers. Okay, what was the last ones?
I surround yourself with good support.
Okay. Good support. Okay, I probably missed like 1 or 2 or 3. Okay, those are good. Those are great ones. A successful college student does the following: they attend class, pay attention, take notes, study, communication, office hours, connect with peers, and good support. Now, that is for one group. And so I kind of want to take a list of what everyone talked about first, and then we'll bring it back together, kind of summarize, and kind of make notes of what everyone, to find some commonalities between the other groups, okay? So I'm going to write it down first. So go ahead, Edgar's group, if you can just write down what y'all came up with, and I'll type it down.
Okay, so we talked about someone that is willing to reach out to professors and classmates when they need help or have questions. We also said someone that works hard and studies hard and doesn't procrastinate, along with being responsible and motivated. And the last thing we came up with was someone that takes the time to take care of their mental health.
Those are great ones. Okay. Okay, so then we'll have the, thank you. We'll have the, how about Jasmine's group?
We said, we also said take notes, turn things in on time, visit professors, study groups, self-care, self-discipline, prioritize, have a class buddy, go to class, check emails and grades and Canvas, have fun, check in time to time with support system like counselors, keep in touch with friends and family, get involved with clubs and events. And that was ours.
Perfect. Okay. And then lastly, let's go ahead and have Patty's group.
Do you want us to repeat it even if it's on there already? Or
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Okay, so we said to go to office hours,
Mm-hmm.
time management, be open, ask questions, join study groups, clubs, and be social, be confident, pay attention in class and stay organized, be persistent, determined and open-minded, have a growth mindset, be healthy, whether it's mental and physical, and balance out work with the fun.
Perfect. And mental health. Okay. So I probably did not catch everything that all of what all of you have stated, but we kind of have an idea, right, in terms of what makes a successful college student. And so the reason why I wanted to talk it out is because when we talk about college success, it's subjective, meaning that it's going to be based on you as a person. So all of these are things that we know that could work, but sometimes they don't work for you. And so I just want to just point that out. And as you know, as we're reading through all of this, all of you have very similar answers because you know what defines a textbook successful college student. And so these things again, like I said, could be things that could be useful to you, but again, everyone is different. And so but what you mentioned here is great. Like it's easy, you attend class if we can, pay attention, take notes, study. Communication is key. I know that I stress that a lot too. It's communication with me. Work hard, study hard, be responsible, motivated, go to professors' office hours, whatever how it looks like. Time management, be open to asking questions. Self-care is so important. Going to tutoring, class buddy is so important as well. Checking email is so important. So these are things that you already know as a student. These are things that you are already doing. And so what I want to say is when it comes to college success, sometimes, there's some we get nervous when we think about college, right? Because it's the unknown territory. But then I want to make sure that you know that you are really coming to college with a set of skills that works for you. And yes, I can tell you, I can give you advice after advice of what could work, but at the end of the day, you know yourself the most, and you have to do what's best for you. And able to kind of take this into more of a visual turn, I found a graph that I want to share with all of you. So I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you for making this list for me. I'm gonna keep it, and I may send it to all of you. Probably will send it to all of you just so you have this too. But I'm gonna stop sharing. I want to show a graph to you. Let me go here. Going to share this, right? Have y'all seen this before? I mean, the only person I can see on my screen right now is Jodeci, but it looks familiar, right? I mean, again, like I said, everyone assumed that it's a cookie cutter way of being successful, but as we look here, this is what people think it looks like, but they're right. What it really looks like, we're gonna experience. It's not linear, and I think this person said it quite well. Your path is not linear. There will be ups and downs, but remember, you learn from your success and failures. So I think this is a better depiction of what a college students will look like, what that means to you as a student. Again, we're going to experience the ups and downs, but I don't want you to feel like there's a path that leads to success um, on the left side, like a linear path. Okay. But I think this is good because again, just putting things into perspective in terms of you being a college student, that you're gonna have your ups and downs. You're gonna run into professors that you might not get along with. You might run into other peers in your class that you might not get along with. But those are just part of the journey of being a college student, is really finding what works for you. And so um again, like I said, I could come up with a lot of advices and tips to be a successful college student, but I truly believe that you as a student, you already have a set of skills that really works for you. Now it's just you honing down into what that skills look like and really tailoring it to your college experience. And really, it could be tailoring it into each class. Because like we mentioned earlier, each professor has a different teaching style. So then one professor is going to be heavily on Zoom, another professor is never going to be on Zoom, another professor posts assignments all on Canvas. Another professor is not going to have anything on Canvas, so you're not going to know any of your grades. And then I know that poses a lot of anxiety for students too. So then what's key here is, of course, being able to communicate with your professor and really stay on top of that. So with that being said, I want to open it up to, I don't mean to bombard Linda and Emily, but as we know, our current college students who have such amazing, I want to, they have the student experience, and I want to make sure that they get a chance to kind of speak on it with the time that we have left. I want to give it a chance for Linda and Emily to kind of share, like, just maybe 2 or 3 things that you that has worked for you in college. Okay, whether it be, keep it as broad as that. What worked for you in college? What, either that be habits or skills, and then just, I guess, tie it back to like what you wish you knew your first year as a freshman, your first year of college. And I think that would be very helpful to just to be able to share that to the rest of the students. Okay. So I'd give you, take your time. I know I've bombarded this question to you and with no warning, but if you're ready, go ahead and just unmute yourself and just tell us your story.
I'll go first. So for me, something technical is that I learned really early on that I had to, like, not even exaggerating, check Canvas and my emails like 5 times a day maybe, especially when class is about to start, because professors tend to, send out an email saying, oh, there won't be class today, like my car broke down, or you can like never expect, what do you mean, how do I say it, expect the unexpected. That's what I'm trying to say. Life gets in the way, not just for us students, but professors as well. So I found that was very helpful. One time I went to class and it was canceled, and I showed up and I was confused. So yeah, I learned that the hard way, but yeah, definitely. And keeping up with my assignments, I think writing everything down for me was very helpful, because I am a very forgetful person. I know my group knows that. But yeah, I just writing down on my planner everything I had to do for the day, my homework, whenever I had a study group session with anybody, even going to the grocery store, I had a time allotted for that. I'm a very organized and like have my things, on a list type of person. So I think that really worked for me. And when it comes to remote setting, which we will be in the fall, I think for me was more, everyone learns a different way, but finding a space designated for me for my growth and learning. And because I find it that if I'm around people or in a messy space, I cannot focus. And finding that like your comfort space and what works for you. Maybe you play music while you're studying, or you have to have something around in order for you to feel comfortable. Whatever the case may be, I think just finding that schedule and like routine for yourself, in order for you to feel like you're at school without being at school, is very important. And it won't be easy. I feel like I took like, I think half a month, maybe even a month to get into everything, and it gets tiresome sometimes too, having just the same routine. So switch it up if that's something that is going to work for you. But yeah, and also getting involved. I mentioned this to Linda, that I regret not getting involved as much as I wanted to. And it was, a lot of people are gonna have this, that you're thinking to yourself, oh, I don't know anyone, like I'm gonna feel so weird, I'm gonna be a loner, I'm gonna be there by myself. But that's what it's all about. I feel like it's all about meeting new people, stepping out of your comfort zone if that's what you are comfortable with, or you're out of your comfort zone, whatever, if that's something you want to do and you want to get involved. I think I push for that. It is very important to get involved with SSU. It's such a small community too. You'll know almost everyone in your class, like all like me, my first year, I knew everyone, almost everyone in my first year. You won't know everyone, but most people, especially because you're all going through the same freshman year, like first time first year classes. And yeah, I think it's just putting yourself out there if you feel like you need something more. Yeah, so I'll pass it on to Linda. I'm like talking so much.
Stop it, please talk. I love hearing you talk. It was all great points. So I think going off of that, in a more specific like telecommuting sort of route, what really helped me was because honestly, not gonna lie, I really considered just like dropping my last half of my senior year because what's it called, online was just really, really tough for me for like that first 2 weeks. But you know, I stuck with it and I got used to it, and it's really not that bad, but those first 2 weeks were really, really bad for me. And what really helped me start to get really motivated was like getting ready in the morning every day, even though I wasn't like going anywhere, but like having that sort of routine for myself really, really helped. Like getting dressed, putting on makeup, because that's sort of like my me time in the morning to like collect myself and get ready for the day. I did that, and I also made sure that I was eating regular meals. So just like having like that consistent schedule for yourself is like really, really helped me. And as far as like a more general sense, like once you come back to campus, I experienced sort of like two extremes of like not being involved at all and then being so involved all the time every single day that I would forget to eat or drink water for an entire day. Don't do that. Yeah, my first year I was super not involved. I felt really lonely, and I really wish that I'd gotten more involved with my community and with like clubs and such, because I felt so lonely all the time. And then like I said, to counteract that, my future years I almost stretched myself too thin. So you know, just take experiments, really try to check in with yourself, see how much you can handle, take care of your body. Yeah, that's all. I'm sorry, I'm like rambling. I just had some coffee finally, so now I'm like, ugh. Yeah, that's about all I would have to say.
Thank you for sharing. And again, you know, the Emily and Linda are your bridge leaders, which means that, you know, I hope that, you know, you'll be able to ask them so many different questions, because again, they are students right now, are graduating, and so then they're going to be able to bring different perspectives, student perspective, to you all. Again, me as an advisor, I can bring different perspective, but again, I think that a student perspective is so valuable. And so I really encourage you all to reach out to Emily and Linda should you have more questions about just the student experience in general. So with that being said, like, I know we're hitting the hour now, but I appreciate you all coming this morning and joining us this morning and participating in these conversations. I know that, you know, hopefully y'all got a chance to really connect with one another, and hopefully I was hoping that in those breakout rooms you weren't with the same person, the same people, that you were with different people, because I know that a lot of you are in this big class, but some of your, you know, your leader is Linda or your leader is Emily, but you get a chance to interact with each other as well because you're a bigger group here. So hopefully that was good. So to end it off, I do just want to talk about some reminders. Let me pull it up. Reminders. Okay, so today at 1 p.m., 1 to 2 p.m., I know that they're throwing the API, AFSA, and FOSU student mixer. So, you know, it's the Asian Pacific Islander Faculty Association with the FOSU, which is the Filipino Student Association. So we have a mix at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So join us if you can. And the link is it's on Canvas. And then from there, I know that y'all have a trivia night from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. I think that's going to be so fun. So make sure y'all join. Just hang out with one another, see what kind of questions they have. I think that's really exciting. And then lastly, I want to go back and talk about my one-on-one advising session. So I was able to connect with the other advisors and just get more clarification. So the sign-up sheet that I have for all of you is really just so that I know who I'm meeting at which time. So if you write your names down, then on that sheet, then I would anticipate meeting with you. However, I'm also going to treat that 1 to 5 hour as like a drop-in. So if you're looking at that sheet of paper and you don't see anyone's name on it, still go into the Zoom advising link and it just let the student assistant who's managing that, let them know that you want to meet with me, and then they'll let me know, and then they'll transfer you to my breakout room. Does that make sense? And so I don't want you all to just be tied to I didn't write my name down, so I can't come see her during these hours. I really want to be available to all of you. So if from today, for example, from 1 to 5, I think I have one student. So if you need to talk it out, just come in, and then they'll let me know that you're here, and then we can meet. It doesn't have to be anything super formal. Make sense? Sounds good? Okay, so with that being said, I want to make sure y'all get a break before your next session. So it was very, very nice to see you all this morning. Tomorrow, topic is going to be surrounding, we're going to dive more into like academics, okay? So talking about a GE pattern a little bit more, and then answering some, hopefully have a Q&A so I can answer some of your more specific academic questions, because I'm sure you all have that. And then we'll go from there. Sounds good? Thumbs up? All right, have a good one. Go ahead and feel free to shut off your camera, mute yourself, and then come back at 10 for the next session, okay? Have a good day.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to be pulling up a file, so if I look like I'm staring at something random, don't think I've lost it. Well, I may have lost it, but don't think I've lost it yet.
Good morning. Christina made me the host after she left, so I'll go ahead and give hosting rights to you.
Okay, and I give them right back to you then at the end, or Emily, or who? How, you all have been wonderful with that. Just a reminder.
Yeah, just either of us. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And that you may have to walk me through at the very end. Yep, I'm a host.
Yep, there you go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
So how's everyone's morning? How's it going?
Better with coffee. Oh.
Oh, I'm chugging.
Yeah.
I'm chugging. Skylar, thumbs up. Love to see it. Natalie, hello, hello. I see a couple of other people saying Edgar. Kimberly, thank you for that. For the hellos, Patty, Lorena. Anyway, so a couple of things. You may hear a screaming baby trying to run into the room, and I'll apologize if you see that. But that's just the world we live in right now. And there's a couple things I want to get to. Well, there's too much. There's too much to get to. So I just want to actually be very candid. And the one thing I told you from day one, I would always be candid. And this is my third year, like I said, working with Summer Bridge, and I know how intense it is. So I know we're lucky enough to have the advisors and the bridge leaders with us right now. And they are here every step of the way. And one thing I think they would attest to from years past, and I'll start noticing when I stop seeing faces and I start seeing either pictures or I see just names, and totally fine. But we get battle fatigue. We get tired. It's just a day after day after day. And I know, and we're in day 3, right? Well, I think you're in day 5. Is it 5? 4, 3. This is 3, right? So please understand that I understand, right? And I mean, I'm already getting hoarse, and we just started. We just started. And I will probably every minute or so probably stop to drink some coffee. Now, as far as the reading and writing section, this is something where we have so much to do in so little time. I feel like I'm Willy Wonka and Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. And the one thing I would say as an educator is always do more with less. So if you feel like, while I've spent hours creating templates in activities, and then I also know the reality is part of yesterday was that we needed to do an introduction, which is so paramount because of the importance of understanding community of leaders. And the first day was kind of, here we are. It was collective between the quant analytics section and the reading and writing. And you may not have actually, because there's so many things you may have not seen on the schedule. This is actually, can you even see me? What is it? Or is this like trying to get some coloring here? That's not so bad. This is our last day. I mean, we have one more synchronistic class together, and that's on July 2nd. So while we are going to try to do a lot today in the next 46 minutes, and I'm going to try to be firm about respecting your time for needing a break and then starting the next class. There's just no humanly possible way that we can get through everything. So then I have to say, what is it that's most paramount? What is it that we really need to address? And then what are some of the things that we can do that would also get our minds going at 10:05 in the morning on day 3, knowing that you have another class followed by another meeting, followed by another meeting, followed by another meeting, followed by another class the next day. Like, I get it. So really, when I tell you that I'm a teacher at heart, the objective of today's class is to start critically thinking. Well, we've been doing that, but it's to start critically thinking in the context of a synchronistic classroom. So maybe some things may fall flat, maybe some things will gravitate towards us. Maybe we'll have to move too quickly in certain areas, and maybe we won't hit other stuff. But if we do understand the platform, we will have hit the objective. We'll have hit the goal, right? And the real reason being that in the whole beauty of Summer Bridge, and you'll feel it the first week of school, I promise, is you will have a leg up on people who are seniors. I think Linda, you may even, and Emily, and I can't remember what year, but Linda, I know you just graduated, and I'm guessing besides the fires and such, that was a complete shock at the end of your final semester. Next thing you know, hey, we're going online, and it was like no one had any idea about what was like, what expected, what are breakout rooms, what's synchronistic, asynchronistic, what does this all mean? I mean, could I just ask you to attest or speak to that, just so that they understand where we're like the advantage of having this platform is even just an objective itself?
Yeah. Did you mean the advantage of having like Summer Bridge as a platform?
Or like learning how to do this as a platform? Like, what was it like your senior year, the last 3 months of your classes to be? And I know you all experienced this as your senior years in high school, but you know, like what were some of the things that you had to very, very quickly learn how to do?
Okay. Yeah. It's funny because I was actually just speaking a little bit about this, is that the thought of dropping the second half of my senior year really did cross my mind. Didn't do it, and I'm really glad I didn't, and I'm really glad I stuck with it. And it's just like a testament to, you know, if you're struggling, just keep going, you know, you got this. But yeah, I tend to be a very like scatterbrained type of person. I'm someone who works really well when I have someone there to like bounce ideas off of one another, and like kind of other people to like keep me accountable. So as soon as it was all online, I had to learn very quickly how to keep myself accountable for things, which is crazy because as I was a college student for 4 years, I think I would learn that by now. But I think that time management and learning how to keep yourself accountable for things is like an ongoing learning process. And I really had to sharpen those chops really, really quickly. And it was really hard. It was super hard. But you know what? I had developed such a great support system with the case staff and with my friends, some of which I met during Summer Bridge, who helped me keep myself accountable, who were there for me when things got really rough and I was really stressed out. And even now that I'm graduated, I'm still welcomed to talk to the case staff whenever I need to. Like, they've reached out to me to tell me that, which is so great. So yeah, you know, just if you're struggling with the remoteness of all of this, just feel free to reach out to any of us, because we'd all be happy to help you out. Just, you know, yeah.
Thank you. And I want to piggyback off that. I've been doing a lot of research into, I think I've told you all, into what does education mean now going forward, knowing that we live in it's called a paradigmatic shift. We had a shift in consciousness. We had a shift in culture, a shift in society. And the one thing I want you to actually realize is sitting here in this classroom gives you a leg up. You are going to enter a workforce after college that's going to look different than anything that I had ever imagined, that any of us had ever imagined. And even though, and thank goodness, because I'm just like you, I need to see faces. I need to be in person. If I'm going to play devil's advocate, I need to sit in class and I need to know that I know that student and that they can trust me to be like, I'm going to press you. Even though I agree with you, I'm going to press you on your thoughts, right? Whereas it can feel a little abstract and separated in the virtual world. However, now knowing that this is not, we are going to be together. We are all going to be together very, very soon. So if you actually just take the first semester in thought and in light of that, it's preparing you to have the skill set. It's now something that you can put on your resume. You know how to coordinate, you know how, and basically being part of, you know how to run, how to construct and to develop and lead like a group via a virtual setting. And that's all skills that you're getting a little bit of like osmosis, like you're learning it through practice. And that's part of your college education that many other people did not have. But then of course, you know, we're going to go back to face as soon as humanly possible. Okay, with that all said, I'm going to jump right in for the sake of time, because now I see we have 40 minutes. And I'm going to share my screen. If you want, you can pull up the PowerPoint that I have shared with you all. I mean, I'd prefer not to have to share screen. I'd rather see your all faces, but for the sake of time, I'm going to go over a few things that we didn't get to do yesterday, and then we'll come back together. So, and I'm going to leave it in, I'm not going to leave it in present view because I want to at least see a couple of your faces. Okay, so we had the homework for yesterday. Hopefully you did, you watched the videos. They're really wonderful videos. Hopefully you also were able to do the reading. And I should first and foremost say that Baldwin has had a huge impact on my life. And between him and Ralph Ellison, they talk about, even if I don't have the, even if I can't empathize because of my own individual experiences have differed, it opened my eyes to understanding different and disparate experiences within the collective experience and the human condition, right? And Baldwin is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And in the same light that we're going to be reading, if you're in my Cal's 219 class, we may be reading some Chicana feminist thought that is just utter brilliance, right? And the whole point is, if it makes us question us and shakes us to the core, which I really thought Dr. Johnson's video got a really good way of getting at a lot of what Baldwin's thoughts were. That's good. Right? Like that's the point of college. And if you haven't had a chance to fully gone through the reading, or if you have and you're interested, Notes of a Native Son, Go Tell It on the Mountain. These are two paramount texts by Baldwin. And then the presentation by Dr. Hester Williams, I just wanted to give, so I'm going to give 7 minutes. That's it. And then this material, just know, is live, but it's a toolkit. And she kind of reviewed all of this material, and you know all of it. You know all of this from school. However, there's one slide that not really many, like it's number 4, speed reading to survive. So this is one that's actually, I have to be candid, I didn't learn it until I got into my master's program in history and then the doctoral program. And they're like, oh no, of course you have to learn how to speed read, because there's just no physical way. I mean, in a history master's program, you would, or doctoral program, they'll give you, and I'm not making this up, you may have 5 classes and they may expect you to read a book per week per class. So if that's 400 pages times 5, that's 2,000 pages per week. I mean, that's just ridiculous, right? There's just no human possible way. And we enter our first year thinking that, let's say, once again, I'm just giving you an example. Let's say you're taking 4 or 5 classes and you have 3 to 5 articles and chapters you have to read. You have to be very strategic about your approach to these things. And you have to know how to take notes to engage with the material, knowing that you are not going to physically have time to do every single thing. Now, maybe I shouldn't be saying that. I know this is being recorded, but it's the truth. It's just the flat out truth, because the alternative is dire. And what happens too often is people will leverage their time where their interest is, and then they just simply will not do the readings for other classes. And that's where you're going to see struggle. And not only that, I've heard people say they were really interested in biology and art. I heard some people say education. heard other people say a variety of different things. But this is in undergrad, you're going to be taking a lot of classes. So how do we thrive and how do we get the most out, knowing that we have to maximize our time? And the skills you approach to studying will maximize your time. Like, how do I take, okay, I have three articles to read for, I'll stick with the CALS 219 class, which is the Latinx experience. And they're 25 pages each. And I am running out of time. How can I get through all three of those articles? And I'm talking about my own class, so I'm admitting this. How can I get through all three of those articles in a half hour or an hour? And how can I really authentically get into that material? Or if it's something that you really love, spend more time on. I should reference, use every minute you have if you really, really gravitate towards something. But then how do I maximize when I don't? And so some of these tools, we're talking about previewing. So if I know a lot about, say, Baldwin, and I know I've read many of his materials and it's an article I haven't read before, I kind of know his standpoint. I kind of know his frame. So at this light, I really need just kind of to dig to find what was the thesis, what's the argument of this particular, piece of reading or text. If it's not something I know, how can I figure out very quickly what's the disposition of the writer and what's the layout? So one really easy one is like, take an article. The thing that people skip the first is the very first thing you should read. Always read abstracts. Always read abstracts. Always read abstracts. Always read introductions and always read conclusions. Like if you do those three things and then you read what we call speed reading, just topic sentences, you will get the gist of the article, right? You'll get it. You'll get what I mean by gist, like what was kind of the point, right? And then throughout the time, maybe annotate, whatever way that looks like. Develop your own system. Maybe that's sketching on the side. And I know Dr. Hester Williams did a bunch of this. So once again, I'm only giving you 3 more minutes. But if you have symbols, if you like to highlight, my biggest folly, and I'll say I did this up through even doctoral programs, is like I would highlight things that I would find interesting, and then at the end of a page, I'd realize I highlighted the entire page. And at that point, that's not highlighting. Now I have no real reference point, right? So find your system. Look for repetitions and patterns. One thing that's going to be really, really common is consistent words. If you consistently see words that keep popping up, if you see the word intersectionality constantly popping up, and I don't know that word, okay, so that's one I need to really focus on, right? Because now I'll get the gist of it, right? And once again, I'm not asking everyone to understand what these words mean now, but start finding patterns in text. So speed reading. This is the one that's not going to be on the other slides, but it's the one that's going to carry us through, in my personal opinion, and how to thrive. When you open a text, truly center yourself for whatever amount of time you have for that reading to truly understand, A, who is the author? What is the point of this article? And if I was to enter a conversation the next day or in an hour, would I know 2 to 3 tidbits about that article or that reading so that I could engage in a conversation? We will have time to go back and review. We will have time to hear from your classmates and from your professors, but you need to enter with some grounding of what the article's gist is. And that's the most important word. It's like, what's the point? What's the function of it, right? Why did they assign it, right? Otherwise, what ends up happening is people will just let it slide, and it becomes so obvious when we're reading essays who's done the reading and who hasn't. Whereas if someone maximized their time and maybe they didn't read every single word, but they got the gist and they highlighted some quotes and they can reference those and they have evidence, you nailed it, right? You can survive. And that's really speed reading. And I mean, when you get good at speed reading, like really good at speed reading, you can read a 400-page book in an hour. And it's not saying, once again, Emily, I know you said you love to read, and there's times and places where speed reading is not what I'm talking about for your context. When you say like when we love reading a novel, or if you're really interested in an article, or if it's really in math and there's just this concept that's really unique, no, spend hours on it. Read every word. Read sometimes last time I read Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, it's like 350 pages, but I had to reread pages because I wanted to understand each word. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is how do we survive in those other readings, right? How do we get through and so that we know we can maximize our time and that we can understand the gist of everything. And what you can do is if there is a thing where there's an abstract, read it. If there's an intro, read that thoroughly. Then what I would look for is they're called signposts. So if you're reading a textbook or if you're reading some type of article, you'll see like halfway through a section, it may say, well, if it's an article, it may say like methods, it may say discussion or findings. Go to each one of those signposts, or if it's in a book, it may have like a different subtopic. Find out the name of those signposts and highlight them, right? That should be a highlight. And then maybe highlight 1 or 2 sentences that really get at the gist of each of the signposts. So now you've created an outline, which is what our next idea is down here. Like now you've created an outline that will allow you to summarize and then ultimately analyze a text, right? And that's speed reading 101. Now for the material that you're gonna be looking at yesterday and today, but we would be spending, if we were in person, we'd be spending almost probably a full day talking about ethos, pathos, and logos. Sorry if I'm speaking too quickly. I'm trying to race through something that I'm trying to get done I'm already past 2 minutes. But what I want you to know is that every author has an agenda in the same way that every one of us have an agenda. And even there's a philosophical principle that's debated, highly debated, and it's this idea of objectivity. And can we really know, or realism, can we know the truthness of something? And the beauty of math is sometimes we feel like, well, that's just truth facts, right? Well, once you get into higher levels, you start realizing, wow, what we thought was true is really kind of, the lines have been blurred. And the same is true, especially, and most especially when we get into letters. And if you want to become a lawyer, you got to know this. If you want to become someone who's going to run a business, you got to understand this. If you want to work in communications, if you want to be somebody who does some type of journaling or like some type of writer, you need to know how and the way to appeal to an audience. So ethos, and this is very quickly, is an ethical appeal. So like I'm going to appeal to once again, you're always thinking of the reader. I'm going to appeal to the ethics of the issue. Now, I mean, and I do not, I'm going to, for the sake of time, because, well, we should spend hours and hours and hours on it, but the current state of affairs that's not current, it's a history that has gone throughout our nation, and that is privilege, power, and injustice. Like we could be spending hours talking about this. And you may even have conversations with neighbors, family members, that when you're having these debates about what is going on, the first thing to recognize is the standpoint on which they're making their argument. So if I'm making an argument about why we should have reform in certain ways, and I'm appealing to ethos, which is an ethical, and then I'm also appealing, which is my most common form, is logos, which is logic. Like, let's just use logic to come up with solutions. And I realize I'm having a conversation with somebody whose premise is based on pathos, which is very, very common, which is emotions. Logic and emotions do not align all the time. You like just think of a conversation you had yesterday with somebody, where you're like, wait a minute, how did you get to that standpoint? Like, I just had a conversation yesterday where I heard this parent's complete beliefs, and everything they said, I was like, yeah, I agree. That sounds logical. And then their endpoint was the complete opposite resolution. Complete opposite. I was like, how did we get here? So before I start critiquing, I needed to understand, oh, they're using their logic to come up with an emotional response. And their emotional response may not be logical. And that is actually something that can be really, really hard when we engage in a debate. And I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I feel like this particular one is going to be so powerful when you enter a public forum, a discussion board, whether that's what's going to be doing for your next asynchronous class, or what we're going to do in a few minutes, which is a Socratic seminar. Are we appealing on an ethical term, an emotional term, or a logical term? And sometimes they can be a mesh of all of them. So moving into today now, I wanted to go and so the goal was that we were going to, like, our real objective today is to practice different discussion forums in a synchronistic format. Now, while I hope we can get to more and more and more of the content, let's focus on what we can do. And what we can do is practice these different means of discussion. So the first thing I'm going to do is, and I'm just doing this ad hoc, so there's this theoretical term. Benedict Anderson started this, but it's kind of been taken up by sociologists and anthropologists and many other fields, about this idea of an imagined community. And we all belong to imagined communities. I heard many people say yesterday that they belong to they enjoy playing video games. And I apologize for the lack of a better term. I think there's a lot more. James G does a lot of research into game theory and how it actually really, really, really supports our critical thinking skills and our collaboration and communication skills. So I think there's a lot to be gained there. When you're engaged in one of those games, you are in an imagined community. It's a community within itself that's confined. Our classroom is an imagined community. Our cultural identity markers are an imagined community. One that's really easy to recognize is, let's say you're a sports fan and you see someone walking down the street. So if I'm in if I'm in Guadalajara and I'm walking down the street and someone sees me wearing an Atletico Madrid jersey, and they give me a little fist in the air, they're like, that's a sign, right? Like, we're part of that imagined community. If you're I don't really follow baseball, but if you were an Oakland A's hat and you cross by somebody who's wearing a San Francisco Giants hat, like, oh, we're in opposite imagined communities. However, what's really, really interesting and powerful and lovely is when those imagined communities can be cross-referenced. So, like, if you put those two people walking by one another in the East Bay, you may feel separation. Now, if you put those two people walking by one another and they're in the middle of Dallas, Texas, next thing you know, they're like, oh, you're from the Bay Area. Like, now your imagined community grows. And that's a really powerful thought. Now, one thing that we would do if we had time, but we have 20 minutes left in class, is to break out and have a breakout section. And I actually would like us to, I wish we had time to discuss, what are those identity markers that when let's say, and it's more applicable if we were all on campus. So I would do this probably day one in January of your first year. You're walking on campus. You walk into a class. This is something you'll see very, very often. Where do you sit? Or if you go into a cafeteria and you don't know anyone, where do you sit? Most often people are going to gravitate towards where they feel their imagined community identity markers align the most. I'm not saying they're permanent, but it could be one of the things where, as you see, I see some listed, like, where do you start feeling like your imagined community or your group alignment more resonates? And the thing that we don't want at the end of college, we don't want these identity markers to be the sole mechanism by which we create our communities at all. However, like I said, we live in a reflexive world. And these things also shape how you look at someone and you say, okay, I feel like I may have a commonality here, and it's a starting point. And then as we grow, we realize that we can deconstruct many of these and we can create a much broader imagined community. In the same way that the two folks who were in the East Bay, now in Dallas, have created a larger imagined community. Okay, so what I want us to do is try doing, so this is going to be question number 1. And I realized I can't share the screen. So I'm just going to state these questions. And then we're going to try breakout sessions for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. And then we're going to come back together and we're going to try a different format for a couple of things on Baldwin. But this is at the core of everything. And this is at the core of everything that we're talking about this semester, in this course, which is why school? Like, I know people have a presumed assumption of what school has done. And if you took a class on the history of education and you realize that the experience of the indigenous communities in the United States and what Americanization and assimilation programs have done, the idea of why school is very, very, very different than, say, Reconstructionist South through Jim Crow, through what I would say even modern day, in the African-American experience in the Southeast and in the Northeast of the United States, and then ultimately in the West Coast. And then, or if you want to look at Gilbert Gonzalez's wonderful book looking at Chicano education in the era of segregation, you look at, like, what is the history of the Latinx Chicano experience of education and what is its function? So when we all talk about, like, school is the great equalizer, the great means to social uplift, well, there's a history that tells us it's something very different. But we also want to see what the possibilities are. So I'm going to have us go into breakout groups. And I just want you to, like, answer this very, very basic question. Like, let me see if the next one does it. Yeah. Why do you think we make everyone go to school? Like, what is it? What's its point? Like, what is what do you think the point of school is in the first place? If you can answer that just basic question, which is not basic at all, we have come so far. So number 2, what do you think the point of school is? And I'm going to leave the share, and we're going to have, once again, this is all about practice. It's going to have some hiccups. It's going to be a little bit of there's going to be flaws, but we're going to practice this. So I'm going to go into you're going to see a breakout groups. You got invitations right now. And I want you just to go and discuss that question, and we'll come back 7 minutes.
My screen didn't get an invitation for some reason.
Okay, let me see. Yes, I'm going to put you in.
Neither did mine.
Okay, you get one. I'm seeing that right now. You should be getting them. There. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, as everyone keeps trickling back in, I want you to know that in no way, shape, or form did I want to give us 4 or 5 minutes in breakout sessions. But that is, once again, one of the goals is to practice this format. Like, how do we carry discussions? How do we connect? And just, and because I don't know everything that goes on throughout Summer Bridge, have you done breakout sessions already? So you're like, oh gosh, not this again. So like it's becoming routine. That's good. That's good. Like we want to normalize this so much to the point that when we get to breakout sessions, it's not it's not something that we fear. It's not something that we feel like we can just continue being a passive participant where we know we have to be actively engaged. And that was kind of the goal of it. We have 8 minutes left, right? So like, I want to make sure that we got everybody. I got to get one group back in. I just kicked them out. So we're gonna have 5 people who are gonna roll in, and they're gonna be like, "What just happened there?" Okay. So while they come back in, so let's just take 1 minute. How'd it go? I heard I jumped into I think 4 or 5 conversations, and well, as people trickle in, sorry for that last group. I didn't mean to cancel you all out. I just need to make sure we came back in. Were you all able to see my post saying come join, like that where I did the announcement? Okay, cool. So I just want to make sure that's all visible. Hi, Carol. So that is one thing. So one thing, like if you're in a class that's more discursive based, you're going to end up going back and forth where we do a lot of breakouts and then we come back together. We used to call them think, pair, shares, where we allow you to do a quick write and then you jump into your group and then you come back as a full class and we do a full class discussion. Another form of Socratic seminar would be, and I'm going to share a screen with this just because we don't have as much time. I'm actually going to leave these more rhetorical, and then I'm going to ask you your personal thoughts about like just kind of wrapping up for the day and taking 5 minutes of discussion. So, what was our real, like at the end of the day, why would we do this discussion? Because it leads us right into what the conversation is when we talk about Baldwin's work on society and schools, identity, power, and this idea of self-actualization or self-awareness. And really what I think is one of the most powerful pieces, that if you ever want to YouTube this, I really recommend you looking up the debate at Oxford University where James Baldwin debates with William Buckley, who is a very northeastern Cockney, I mean that accent wise, very, very upper class as far as economic status, white male, and the debate they have, and I mean this sincerely because they actually vote on it. Baldwin crushes it, just absolutely crushes it. And really what kind of, I think, part of that debate shows is what Dr. Johnson was getting at, which is really powerful. It's about the idea and the fact that so often in the history of this nation, self-actualization and self-awareness has been thrusted upon and required of those individuals who have been the recipient of the most marginalization and the most inequality, right? So individuals of color, once again, I'm talking about the history of this nation, women, and specifically when we talk about intersectionality, women of color, when we talk about we live in a heteronormative society, so people who don't fit in with certain gender norms or sexual orientation expectations, if one has had the privilege of not having to address these things, they are most often the least self-actualized, right? And I think that's kind of at the core of what one of Baldwin's arguments was. And in the paraphrasing, and I'm just going to say this for the sake of we only have 4 minutes, but we would then engage in a full class discussion on, say, these topics. So, and I'm paraphrasing what Dr. Johnson tells you, but the historical consciousness and the individual identity is a construction. And we'll talk about this idea going forward, that social constructions of identity. Like, for one, there is no such thing as race. Race, and I've had a brilliant professor talk about this in a philosophy class prior, and I've also read Derek Bell's book, Silent Covenant, where she spends a chapter talking about really, really strong implications of this, that although race does not exist, it's not a real thing. It is only a word that carries weight because the weight has a certain connotation and an understanding by all of us collectively. Although it is a construct, it has very real implications for the world in which we live, right? So that's what we mean by construction, based upon lies that allows them to not only perpetuate inequality and racism, but also reveals a level of lack of self-awareness and self-actualization. What does this mean to oneself? What is, like, when we think, I have always, to be self-aware, to be self-actualized, is to constantly question oneself and to constantly question the ethos, pathos, and logos, as we just talked about, like the perspective of the individuals in which we're engaging with and how they're framing their own perspectives, and whether or not we can understand that. And I mean, there will be a level of anger, but we have to let that anger subside and realize that what kind of conversations we're engaging with. So if I'm engaging with somebody whose entire argument is based on pathos, right? That's a totally different argument that I should be having with that, because I'm aware of that, right? And then the thing that is really at the core of what you're going to be writing about over the next few days as we move into the asynchronistic portion of the class, because we only have 2 minutes left together. I hope to gosh that many of you just so happen to be in class with me in the fall. If not, there's so many wonderful professors that you're going to be great. But I love you all, and I hope we all get to continue working together. But I want to explore this second question, which is, what does this reflect upon our experiences growing up and the narratives that we've been told in schools? And how can we deconstruct those and find out where the absences and what I would call the silencing of history. The silencing of history is even more powerful than what history is told. And we need to explore those silences, right? And then the last one, which we'll be talking about, and just I'll leave it for fodder for thought. Once again, it's paraphrasing what Dr. Johnson was saying, but we need to understand that everything that we see, and this is something, just leave it for thought for today. Everything we see, we feel, we experience in the present day is connected to a larger, broader historical context. Issues, now not just our identities, but issues that transcend all of us, that transcend the individual experience in the present moment. They transcend the present moment. Oftentimes, understanding the historical context of an issue causes us to understand the imbalance of power and inherited inequalities and injustices that have continued to persist. So to have a conversation about certain affairs without understanding the historical legacies of those institutions and issues is not only an injustice, it is unethical, right? And that is the thing. So we need to understand those histories, and especially the histories of silencing. And we are going to explore it. We're going to explore it through our own journeys of education, and speak to what does it represent in the larger trends and trajectories of our society. And then one thing, if we're together, is we're going to be talking about this idea of conformity a lot. We'll be talking about this idea of a panopticon, where we're always surveilling one another, and we actually try our best to conform so that we don't feel like we're not part of the group. A terrible example would be the movie Mean Girls, where everyone does what they can just to fit in. Like, I just need to fit in, right? I just need to belong to a group so that I know I'm not lost. In schools, there's a way in which schools are doing this form of not just repression, but oppression to create conformity. And there's an underlying, what we would call hidden curriculum going on there. And we'll unpack that. And I wish we could be based on, go on into a Socratic seminar, but we just don't have time. So for next class, well, this is our final class we have together as far as synchronistic until July 2nd. I had office hours yesterday. I didn't get anyone to attend. I'm not saying anyone needs to. I know how packed your schedules are, but I need to be, could I get, because right now I can only see let me actually just exit because I gotta hand it over to Carol and you'll have a break. But can I get a thumbs up or get somebody in chat? Did you all get the links I sent to the Zoom? Did you get the announcement and the email saying this is like, okay. Once again, if you don't have any issues, no worries. My assumption is that office hours are going to start kicking in a little bit more once you start working individually this weekend, and when you start working on your essays, when you start working on your poetry projects. I'm expecting that. So if there's no reason, don't feel like you have to, but I would like at some point this week everyone to jump in to one of the office hours, say hi, even if it's just say, hi, I'm thinking about taking some courses. What do you think? I want to think about becoming a teacher, but I don't know yet. What are some ideas or thoughts? Or I'm thinking about going into business or biology. I'm not going to say I'm going to be the right person, but I might be able to say, you know who you should talk to? And it's also just nice to get to know one another. So now it's a 52 and I've ran out of time. I'm not going to see you all face to face unless it's office hours until July 2nd. Please know I love y'all, and if I'm always going to be available, if you need any emails, if you want to join office hours, please come too. So now I have to hand it over. And how do I do this once again?
Yeah, no problem. So just go to participants on like the bottom bar there, and then you can go to what's it called? Brain fart. Oh my gosh. You can go over the person.
I think I just did it.
Yeah.
Linda, you said you wanted to be host. Right? Did that
No. Please make me host. I'm doing breakout rooms and I can't do it if I'm co-host. Please make me host, and I'll make Linda host when I'm done. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
I apologize. Carol, 1 second.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Did that work?
Yep.
Okay. I'm handing it over. And love y'all. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Everybody take a break. Stretch. Get your coffee. See you at 11. Hi, everybody. React, please. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Oh, cool. Okay. So, folks, I don't like this. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put that screen back up. What I want you to do is if you haven't stretched, I want you to stretch. Okay. I also want you to count your M&Ms. And like I've got this many orange and this many red and this many, and then I want you to enter that in that information into a spreadsheet, and I'm about to put a link to the spreadsheet in the chat box. Okay. Okay, so once you have counted your M&Ms, if you don't have your M&Ms, I'll send you an email. If you have your M&Ms, count them. Once you have counted them, go to the spreadsheet and put your count in the spreadsheet. And the link is in the chat box. And I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to get that done. And I'm going to take care of some people emailing. Everybody know what I want you to do right now? Thumbs up if you know what I want you to do. Okay, go do it. I'll give you about 5 minutes. Okay, it looks like I didn't give you access to the Google Sheet. I'll see if I can fix that. Stand by, keep stretching. Okay. Okay, I've just put in a different link. See if that one will open for you. Still not working. Okay. Let's see if I can try again. This is really annoying. Okay, try one more time. Okay, it's working. Yay. Okay, so 5 minutes now starts now. Still not quite working, huh? I sent a link again. On my end, it says if you have this link, you ought to be able to edit. I am sorry that I am wasting your time. I find that very embarrassing.
There's a section on the Google Doc where it says view only. If you click that, you can press edit and it should let us allow us to edit it.
Well, I see that you're able to open it. Open, yes, edit, not so much. Okay, I tell you what, let's one at a time. Tell me what your information is and I'll type it in, starting with Edgar. Edgar, can you take the mic and tell me what your data says?
All right, so I have red, 7 of them, orange, 9 of them, yellow, 9 of them, green, 6 of them, blue, 12 of them, brown, 10 of them.
Beautiful, thank you. Jasmine.
Okay, so I have 4 red, 16 orange, 8 yellow, 6 green, 12 blue, and 8 brown.
Thank you. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. Lizbeth.
I have 6 red, 10 orange, 13 yellow, 6 green, 15 blue, and 5 brown.
Thank you. Oh, and if I make a typo, catch me, please. Malena.
Okay, so I have 7 red, 22 orange.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
9 blues, 6 yellows, 7 greens, and 6 browns.
Thank you. Kimberly.
All right, I have 6 red,
Okay.
12 orange,
Okay.
14 blue,
Okay.
10 yellow,
Yep.
9 green,
Yep.
and 4 brown.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, that's all. Let's see. That's all I see in my chat box. Oh, and Anastasia, are you? How about you?
I have 6 red, 12 orange, 3 yellow, 8 green, 14 blue, and 11 brown.
Thank you. Now I need people to start calling out who they are, please.
Hello, I'm Roxana.
Hi, Roxana.
I have 7 red, 14 orange, 7 yellow. Oh, sorry, blue. It was with 17.
Okay.
And then I have a 6 green and then
Okay.
six brown.
Beautiful. Thank you. Next, please.
I'm Patty.
Okay.
And then I have 8 red, 14 orange, 11 yellow, 7 green, 13 blue, and 3 browns.
Thank you. Next.
Oh, you can go.
Okay, sorry. I'm Irving, and I got 5 red, 16 orange, 8 blue, 15 yellow, 7 green, and 5 brown.
Beautiful. Thank you. Next, please.
Jaleesa. 8 red, 9 orange, 12 yellow, 16 green, 7 blue, and 5 brown.
Okay, I just made a mistake. Hang on. Irving, how many green did you have?
I had 7.
7, okay. And Ulysses, you had 16 green?
Yes.
And Ulysses, how many blue?
7.
And how many brown?
5.
5. What happened was I overwrote Ulysses' data onto Irving's slot. Okay, so thank you. Next, please.
Emmy?
You can go.
Emmy?
Say again? I didn't hear your name. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not hearing. Maybe next. Maybe there's an unstable thing.
I'm Lorena.
Marina.
I have 2 red, 11 orange, 7 yellow, 14 green, 12 blue,
I'm
and
sorry.
10 brown.
I'm sorry. Hang on. I'm having some issues. I'm sorry. Whee. Okay, Marina, if you could start again, please.
Yeah, I have 2 red, 11 orange,
yes,
7 yellow.
7 yellow, thank you.
I have 14 green.
Okay.
12 blue.
Okay.
And 10 brown.
Perfect, thank you. Next, please.
I'm Skylar.
Skylar.
I have 10 reds.
Okay.
13 greens.
Okay.
11 blues.
Okay.
6 yellows.
Yep.
12 oranges.
Whoops.
And 6 browns.
Okay, anybody else?
Isabel.
Okay.
9 red.
Okay.
15 orange.
Okay.
8 blue.
Okay.
10 yellows,
Okay.
13 greens,
Okay.
and 1 brown.
Okay. Anybody left?
Audrey.
Audrey?
Yeah, and I have 9 red,
Okay.
13 orange,
Okay.
15 blue,
Okay.
and then for yellow, green, and brown, I have 6.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Yuli.
Oh,
You can go.
okay. Thank you. I have
Name, please.
Natalie.
Natalie, thank you.
I
Okay.
have 8 red,
Yep.
18 orange,
Okay.
15 blue,
Okay.
4 yellow,
Yes.
7 green,
Yes.
and 5 brown.
Perfect. Anybody else?
Is my audio working now?
I hear you.
Okay. I am Emmy, and I have 9 red,
Yep.
14 orange,
Yes.
10 yellow, 9 green, 8 blue, and 5 brown.
Okay. Is anyone left?
Hi, I'm Yuli.
Go ahead.
Oh, I have 10 reds, 9 oranges, 6 yellows, 14 greens, 12 blues, and 4 browns.
Perfect. Is anyone left? We got everybody? Okay, let's say we have everybody. That was not supposed to take that long, but you know that? It's okay. So I'm gonna grab the reds here and see if this works. Coming back to the meeting now, starting my video. Okay, so, okay, I think some of the numbers might be wrong. Yeah, okay, Jasmine and Edgar, I want to double check yours because, you know, let's make it right? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
for mine, you mixed up. So for yellow, I had 8.
wait, please wait, because I'm not in the right place. It's going to take me a minute to get in the right place. Sorry about that. Okay, so give me a second here. So was that Yasmin I was just talking to?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yasmin.
please repeat, Yasmin.
So yellow, I had 8.
Yellow should have been 8,
and green should have been 6.
Green should have been 6.
And blue should have been 12.
And blue should have been 12. I think I got Yasmin and Edgar backwards is what happened. Okay, Edgar, how about you? There, Edgar?
Well, everything looks fine for me. You got everything right for me.
I got 7, 9, 12, 9, 6. Okay. 10. Okay. Anybody else feel like I messed up their numbers? Okay, I'm gonna look at the chat real quick. Let's copy this again. Okay, and I'm looking at the chat and oh, I got somebody's name wrong. I am so sorry. And you definitely call me when call me on getting your name wrong. And that was
Lorena.
Yeah, what number did I have you on, Lorena?
14.
14, Lorena. Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay, going back. Sorry, I'm sorry that this is not going as smoothly as I could wish. Okay, so I have just pasted all the red numbers in chat. Okay, and I think I want to paste them somewhere else too. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to make a box plot out of all the red numbers, except I don't remember how to do that. So in chat, could people remind me, first of all, what the 5-number summary is? Okay, what's a 5-number summary? In fact, maybe you could just put one of the kinds of numbers. There's 5 different things. Minimum, that's one. We got a minimum. Q1, that's another one. Q3, median. Okay, median, Q3, one more. Maximum, that's the 5. Okay, so we have the minimum, the Q1, the median, the Q3, and the max. Those are our 5 numbers. Okay, I'm going back into the spreadsheet because I think it's going to be the easiest place to do it. So I'm going to take my red numbers and I'm going to go out past brown. Okay. In fact, I'll just copy them. Okay, I'm going to copy this whole bunch and I'm going to go out past brown so that I don't mix up the other stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to take these. Somebody put in the chat box or just say out loud. Okay, what is the first thing I'm going to do with my numbers? When I have a bunch of numbers, what's the very first thing I got to do? Somebody put them in order. Okay, everybody thumb up. The first thing you do is you put them in order. Okay, good job, Audrey. You put them in order. Now, I think I can get Google Sheets to put them in order for me. Okay, so let's go back to sharing Google Sheets. Share screen. Everything takes twice as long as I want it to. Is that it? Come on, Google Sheets. Okay, never mind. I'm going to do it without sharing. But I'm over here in Google Sheet land, and I'm putting my numbers in order, and they're in the chat box, not in order, but I'm going to put them in order right now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something different than that. Okay. Come on. Zoom meeting, share a screen. Let's see if I can make this one work. That one. Okay. So I'm doing this in Excel rather than Google Docs just because I know how to do it. Everybody see my red numbers? Okay, those are the numbers we had for red, and maybe there's an error in them, but we're not going to worry anymore about the errors. So I'm going to sort, and I'm going to make them smallest to largest. Boom. Now what I did, Excel has a sort feature, Google Docs has it too, but I just can find it faster in Excel. And look, there it is, smallest to largest. So we can all see what the min is. Everybody put in the chat box, or somebody put in the chat box what the min is and what the max is. Okay, 2 and 11, right? Those are the easy ones. Okay, so for my min, I've got 2, Q1, median, Q3, max. Max is 11, that's easy. Let's make our data just a little bit bigger, make it easier to see. Okay, so somebody grab the mic and tell me how to find the median and what you think it's going to be. Oh, are you going to make me call on somebody?
Don't you just have to add them all together and divide them by the number?
Oh, that is so great. What you just described is not the median. What you just described is the mean, also known as the average. It's another kind of middle, okay? So yeah, and it's the kind of middle that we're the most used to because of grade point averages, right? Okay, so yes, you did a perfect job of describing the mean, okay, which is also known as the average and is a kind of middle. We're looking for a different kind of middle. We're looking for the number that is literally the number in the middle, okay? And I'm going to do that just by counting them. I got 18, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's the, if I count up 9 from that direction, I get to 7, and I count up 9 from this direction, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, I hate it when this happens, okay? If both of the numbers were 7, we would just say that the median is 7. And if both of the numbers were 8, we could just say that the median was 8. As it is, we have to take the average, which is what you said before. We have to take the average of 7 and 8. I hate that, but it's what we have to do. So our median is going to be 7.5. Okay, somebody else grab the mic and tell me how I'm going to find Q1.
It's the middle between the median and the min.
Exactly. And this one's, we happen to have 9, so it's really easy. We're not going to have to argue about it. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we all agree that our Q1 is going to be 6? Everybody good? Give me a thumb up if you're good. Okay. And then Q3 is going to be the middle of the other set. Okay, the middle of that set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks like 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks like 9. Okay. All right, so we didn't have to do anything fancy for Q1 or Q3. Sometimes we have to mess with it because we've got an odd number, because we don't have an odd number. Overall we had an even number, so we had to mess with the median. I don't like messing with the median. I like picking real numbers, but it's what we got. There's our 5-number summary. If I did that too quickly, go ahead and give me a remark in the chat box so that I can come back to it. But while that's going on, I'm going to now draw a box plot, and I hope I'm still sharing. Stop share. Okay. Now I'm going to go to this. Whoops. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. I'm going to share again, but this time I'm going to share. Where are you? That one? No, not that one. Got too much going on here. One sec. Okay. No. Okay, well, I'm going to use whiteboard, I guess. Okay. Okay, can you see my whiteboard? Yes, thank you. Okay, so first thing I need is a number line. Well, let's review what our numbers were. Let's see. Okay, so I had a min of 2, a Q1, oh, that looks awful. A Q1 of 6, a fakey median of 7.5, a Q3 of 9, and a max of 11. And oh, by the way, we're talking about our red M&M samples. Okay, so the first thing I want is a number line. So let's have a nice number line. Okay, and let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, when you do this, you're going to do it much prettier than this. Okay. Now, I'm going to put all of these numbers in here. So I had a min of 2. And I had a Q1 of 6. Oh, that's awful. Better. And a median of 7.5. And a Q3 of 9. And a max of 11. Okay, now I'm going to make a little box here. That's hence the name. And I'm going to connect these. Those sometimes get called whiskered. Boom! We have a box plot. Okay, so review. I found the 5 number summary. I created a number line. Now it's really important that the number line be nice. Okay, that it's just like a ruler, nicer than the one I just drew. You put in those 5 numbers. The median is in the middle of the box. Q1 and Q3 are the other sides of the box. And your minimum and your maximum are there and there. Okay, now I would like you to speak up if you have a question, but I'm also going to look in the chat box and see if some questions. Oh, look, you put in the mins and the maxes in the chat box. Good job. Does anybody have any questions at this time from that sort of awfully quick review? Here's what we're doing next. In fact, I've made a slide about this. Come back to me, slideshow. Okay, so I'm about to send you to breakout rooms. And in your breakout room, you're going to get your data off of that Google Sheet for the color that I assign you. You're going to see if you can work through doing a 5 number summary and a box plot within your group. Hopefully by 11:50, you'll be able to come back, let's say 11:45, it's not much time. You'll be able to come back and show us one rough draft per group of what your box plot looks like, and also to ask any questions. But your homework tonight is not by group, it's by individual. It's the same color, but it's going to be a beautiful, perfect final draft, which you're going to take a picture of with your phone or scan it or something and embed that in either a PDF or a Word document, and all these instructions are in the homework, and then email it to me or turn it in Canvas. Actually, there's a place to turn it in Canvas, but if that doesn't work, then you can email it to me. But please don't send me any hike files. I can't read them, HEIC files. Make it a Word, a doc, a docx, or a PDF. So at 11:45, you're going to show me one rough draft per group, and then by 10 o'clock tomorrow, you're going to have a beautiful final draft, one per person. I hope that's all clear, because I'm about to send you to breakouts, okay? And you'll get your data off of that Google Sheet and that you were just looking at. If you're having a problem with that, you'll text me or you'll PDF me. Okay, so stop share. Send to breakouts. Any questions right now before I send you to breakout? Oh, I didn't tell you who's doing what. If you find you're in group 1, you'll do orange. No. First I have to put you in your, it's not gonna work. I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat who's doing what. Okay, so first I'm gonna break you out. Breakout. Breakout rooms. Oh. Not started. Okay, all righty. So I'm not quite sure what happened here. Recreate, okay. Okay, I want 5 rooms, okay. Okay, and once you're in your room, I'll tell you which color that's not gonna work. I will put in, that's not gonna work. I don't know how to do this. Oh, yes, I do know how to do this. Let's see. Okay, breakout room 1. That will be, oh, I'm gonna name your rooms. That's what I can do. Okay, rename. So breakout room 1 is now named orange. Okay. Breakout room 2 is now named blue. Okay. Breakout room 3 is now named yellow. I'm still learning this too. Breakout room 4 is now named green. And breakout room 5 is now named brown. I'm going to open all rooms. You're going to analyze your colors. Go.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Emily.
Would you like Linda and I also to join the groups?
If you want to jump around and you know, and see how people are doing, that's fine. And if you want to take a break right now, that's also fine.
Okay, I'll join the room. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, I'm sure that you didn't have enough time to finish. So I'm sorry that I ended up using so much time working out technical issues. I'm not going to assume that anybody finished their rough draft. If anybody feels like they did, feel free to hold it up to the camera right now. Beautiful. Oh, outstanding. Oh, I love the number lines. Oh, the number lines are outstanding. Good job, good job, good job. Okay. Did any questions come up? Is everybody going to be able to do their own perfect, labeled, gorgeous box plot as homework today? Outstanding. And I don't see any questions in chat. Let me double check. No, I really don't see anything in chat. Okay. Good job, everybody. I visited everybody's. Oh, go ahead, please.
So for our homework, are we doing the color that we just got assigned?
Exactly. The color you were just working on. Exactly. Good question. Thank you. And be sure to put that in a title, right? The brown M&Ms, the green M&Ms. Yeah, be sure that that's part of your title. Be sure your number line is part of your homework. You'll be submitting it to me electronically before 10 o'clock tomorrow. I visited the different groups that all sounded like you were working hard, which pleases me very much. I heard people talking about outliers. Outstanding. Okay, glad to know it. I'm gonna let you go 3 minutes early because I was left time for questions and there weren't any. No more questions? And you can hang around for a minute. Okay, go ahead. And do Linda or Emily, do I need to turn this over to you now?
No, we're good. We're gonna have all the students follow our personal links that are on Canvas. So y'all can go into your assigned summer bridge leaders personal rooms again.
Wonderful. And I will stay here for just a few minutes in case anybody has any questions. Everyone else who has no questions may leave. Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I do have one last question.
Good.
How do you want us to label the box plots?
Okay, well, that is an excellent question. Most of all, I want a title. Okay, red M&M samples, green M&M, whatever your color is. Okay, and the number line needs to have numbers on it so that I know what they mean. It wouldn't hurt you a bit to have your 5-number summary right on your paper. Okay, off on here's my 5-number summary, here's my box plot. Once you've done all that, I don't think you really need to put next
write it in
min next to this dot max. I think that's kind of redundant at that point, right? But so long as it's really clear what you're doing, so long as anybody could pick it up and say, I see what's going on here. Okay. It needs to be labeled meaningfully. It doesn't need to have 37 different ways of saying the same thing. Does that make sense?
Alrighty. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for asking. Any other questions?
I actually have a question. Does it have to be written on paper, or can I just do it like through a doc?
Okay. I need evidence that you've actually done the work. Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, there is software out there where you can just plug in the numbers and it spits you back a box plot, right? That's what I don't want you to do. Okay. However, if you've created it yourself using a tool that like Paint or that makes it pretty, I love pretty, but I just need for the work to be yours. I need you to know how to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. No. Good question. Excellent question.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure you already answered my question.
Okay.
Because so you told Kimberly that you'd recommend to have like it on the side, the number summary.
Mhm.
What if I already put it on like what you said, like on the plot itself? Would that be okay, or?
So long as it's perfectly clear. Okay. I need
Okay.
to be perfectly clear that you know that I know that you know that this is the min, this is the max, this right. So, but only once. Okay. I don't need it
Okay.
7 different places. Okay. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, make it look good. Make it something you're proud of. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Okay, now do I leave or do I end?